Today we're doing a gingerbread donut with a maple and honey glaze. A donut to a cupcake, or a cupcake to a donut. There's something, I don't know if decadent is the word to describe it. And I'm gonna put all my dry ingredients in the bowl first. I got some bread flour and some nice light brown sugar. I've got a little bit of baking powder. These are going to be a cake donut rather than a yeast-raised donut. It takes quite a bit of time, up to an hour and a half, with the yeast-raised donut. So this is something that's nice and quick. It's actually quite easy. I think you're looking at donuts today and the style of making a good artisan donut. Once you master a good recipe, you can do virtually anything with it. So I think that's what's really nice about this particular style of a recipe with the cake donut is it's really basic, really simple, but you can adapt to it, you can change it, add flavors. It's really good. We're on the mixer. So we're getting ready for. I'm going to use a paddle for this. You could also use a dough hook if you wanted to. We'll use a paddle for that one. We've got some 3/4 cup of milk. Actually, and some vanilla, and some nice. Got an egg add to it, and some nice dark molasses. I actually ran out of whole milk this morning, and in a pinch I had some nice soy milk in the refrigerator. So I actually, in this recipe that I'm preparing now, I actually used soy in place of the whole milk, which I don't think is going to change it up too much. Makes it a little healthier, I guess is a better way to describe it. So. Put the egg all in. Mix it in. A little bit of unsalted butter. A nice flavor to this would be to do some brown butter. Brown the butter and add it to it. Gives it a nice nutty flavor with the gingerbread. A little flavor of the nutty brown butter. So I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to look for all the milk solids in there to start to turn brown. Nothing too dark. I don't want to burn it. Just want to give it that nice, rich, nutty flavor. I think would be quite good with all of the spices that we have in the donut and the molasses. What we're going to do now is we're going to take all of the wet ingredients and we're going to add them to our dry ingredients, which are on the mixer. Yes, yeah, it's try to avoid a fat or an oil that gets too hot too quickly and gets too smoky. Yeah. Smoking point too high. Fat goes into a fryer. I just find it easier to work with doughs when they're on a cloth. Makes it easier to handle, to roll out. I actually use a lot less flour on the surface, which can make doughs tough and heavy. And I'm just going to knead this together a little bit. So I didn't mix it very long on the mixer, so I'm just going to knead it together to form a nice round piece. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to leave it in the same mixing bowl, and I'm going to refrigerate this for 1 hour. A chilled dough is just a lot easier to handle by rolling it out and also picking up the donuts in pieces. So the chilling is just to get it nice and firm. I like to use the cloth on the table, rolling out pastry doughs that are a little more delicate or soft. They don't stick to the doughs don't stick to the surface as much. I think it's a lot easier to handle when you're using a cloth to roll things out on. So I'm going to take this, and they're rolled out to just about a half of an inch. That's pretty good. Instead of a donut cutter, I'm just going to use a cookie cutter set. And so we can do a sort of the standard size donut. Here goes. I'll use the smaller one. Cut the hole out. Gotta save the donut hole. Something good. I was doing it's really interesting. I was doing some reading the other day and looking at all of these, reading about all these great donut shops and the restaurants from Chicago to Los Angeles to New York, and seeing all of these wonderful dipping sauces that they have, and it's you know, there's a lot of creativity, you know. It's even, you know, during the holiday time, you know, you're trying to make a dessert, something that's sweet, you know. You're not going to appeal to everybody, you know, but with your donut flavor selection, but at least give them the option with some chocolate sauce, caramel sauce, or custard, or lemon curd. I'm going to drop them into the fryer and fry them up, flip them. I'm going to drop them in. I'm going to just drop them in the fryer. The cake ones are a little heavier than the yeast-raised, so they're actually going to sink down in a little bit. It's gingerbread, so they're going to be a little bit darker. I mean, the color fools you on these because of the molasses in the dough and everything. I've got a nice height to them. It's pretty good. It's amazing.
With just baking powder.
Yeah, baking powder. Yeah, just a nice. Just about finished. I really want to make sure that the inside of these is fully cooked. They're not going to be raw. Smaller ones. Start in one point, just work. Remember where you started and where you end up. Staying in place pretty good.
You can use GPS on them.
Yeah, I've got my own little private GPS system going on here. Two cups of powdered sugar. Maple syrup. Be a couple of tablespoons of honey. It's about a half of a third of a cup. So. And what's nice about using the honey or corn syrup or even the maple syrup on a glaze, most glazes are just powdered sugar and water, and they just dry and flake off, and they're really not good. I have to come through and add a little bit of milk to this, just to get the right consistency. But I do have a little bit of milk here. And again, I used soy milk today. Whole milk is fine. I never thought I would get to that point where I would really, really like soy the way I do. Just really wonderful. That's nice. Maple glazed donuts are my favorite donut. Push them in. This is where the chocolatier comes out in me in the hand dipping. There's always a technique to keep it from dripping all the way down. Putting it in the icing and plunging it down about halfway, and as you're pulling out, just bouncing it up and down. It just forms a suction. There we go. I mean, I'm working fine with this glaze. I suppose I probably could, if I wanted to, thin it down a little bit more. I mean, I'm looking at the large ones here. Wow. Sort of crispy on the outside and then soft on the inside. Very nice.